I'd like to say I apologize for the chickens in the background in advance.
It's our audience members.
That's what they sound like to you?
Yeah. It's a bunch of chickens and one rooster.
And they make noise at 4 p.m. It's the wrong time of day.
I don't know.
Daylight savings. Was it daylight savings or the other one?
No, it was savings.
The one that like fucked me over on sleep.
Oh, I mean this one?
Yeah.
Because there's an hour they took away from us.
Yeah. Who's they? Who's in charge of that?
Okay.
Like,
I don't know, Congress?
I don't think that's true.
No, they're in charge of like holidays and stuff.
Even like daylight savings time?
Yeah.
There's so much that they keep from you, right?
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so we're here to we're here to talk about the Oscars.
Yeah, we could just do an episode one day where it's like a bunch of conspiracy theories that I'll bring up, and then you just go, "Erwin, you sound crazy," and just gaslight me the entire time.
It's just us regularly talking.
That is true.
Bro, I believe in like specific government conspiracies. There's things that you believe in though that I don't. I remember you came over one day and tried to get me to watch a bunch of documentaries about like the Illuminati, and I know they're real, but like
I don't know, man. The stuff with what's his name, Ryan Garcia, the boxer.
I heard about
that. Dude, I don't know. I just keep seeing the same videos and like live and like what he says. I'm like, I don't know. I believe he definitely saw something.
Yeah. But
I don't know if it's actually like the Illuminati that we've been presented.
I need to look more into that, but I don't like fully look into conspiracy theories in the first place.
I was watching videos of just him talking, like him like legitimately talking about it through podcast or through like video, like live and everything.
But he says it like genuinely, right?
Yeah,
it's not something that like
like it's not based off of like another person saying like he said this. He says like he has proof, he has this and that, and it's weird because he went on that whole rant one day, and then the next day after, he was on Instagram again.
Yeah.
Posted on his story saying like, from now on, I will not talk about anything else, just boxing, and that's it. And then the day after, he kept continuing talking about it.
Probably somebody like, I know that marketing teams and publicity also, they're probably like, dude, like chill out on stuff like that for whatever reason. It's not something that I'm fully qualified to talk about. It's not something that like, I'm sure that there are genuine things that the government hides from you. Yeah. We're not here to talk about that. I don't think. So we're here to talk about the Oscars, another, I was going to say partial disaster, but I didn't see the monologue that people keep saying was horrible. Maybe that was good for us because the one that Jimmy Kimmel gave that I heard people hated, but
at the very beginning?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But the issue was I was on the wrong channel on RTV because
and then we were watching that another conspiracy thing.
It was like it was renovated
killers
haunted house.
No, it was like something
Killer renovation.
Yeah.
I remember because the font looked like the Twilight Zone font, and I got super distracted because it was supposed to be really creepy.
Yeah.
But I just kept thinking of the Twilight Zone, and I couldn't think of anything else. So we missed the first half hour, and we missed one of the acceptance speeches for a movie that I loved, but we're going to get into more of that. I saw it later, though. I think that win was deserved, and we're going to go into each of the nominations and wins and what we thought about it. Admittedly, we both did not see everything.
Yes.
But I'd like to see I saw the most important things, everything that won something I'd seen at least.
Yeah.
And
yeah, majority of it, like all the wins were ones that we've already seen.
Yeah. So the way this is going to work is it's going to be discussion and reviews. Since we were kind of gone for the full year or two that we have the added benefit of also getting to talk about these movies for the first time on here.
Let's go.
And I'm genuinely really happy about that because that's kind of how we work, is we kind of just give our thoughts about things all the time. And as always, this isn't one of our traditional reviews because this will be going movie by movie, but there will be spoilers talked about in here, I'm sure. But if you haven't seen Oppenheimer by now, please do. And same goes for Killers of the Flower Moon. I know that movie didn't do as well as I personally think it should have, and I get why. It's a 3.5 hour dour, sad movie, but I genuinely think that it is worth your time, and it will have you in a mood for the rest of the day. Just prepping you for that in advance.
Iron Claw.
We are also going to go over movies that I think should have been nominated in the first place. And let's go with that first, actually, because we can get into The Iron Claw, starring Zac Efron, Jeremy Allen White, Harris Dickinson, and I wish I remembered the dad's name because I also think he should have been under supporting actor.
Mm-hmm.
But it was genuinely such a stacked year, and this was an A24 film. And the way A24 works is, in terms of their marketing, I think that they put all of their money into Past Lives because they're not one of the biggest studios ever. So I'm assuming that they must only be able to market one or two things at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But what did you think of The Iron Claw, and why do you think that it should have been nominated?
I cried.
I did too. Yeah.
I think Iron Claw is one of those movies that even if you just knew what the backstory was beforehand.
Did you know anything about it before?
I mean, I looked it up.
Yeah.
Right? And, of course, after I saw the trailer, I looked it up, and I was like, wow, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's insane, especially since, we live where the story took
around
place.
that area.
Yeah, around the area. And especially once you watch the movie, it definitely showcases, like, the brotherhood.
Yeah.
The first half, and then the second half, it's just downhill. And it just doesn't get better, and it's just sad.
It's just this relentless kind of struggling feeling, and it does not get better. I thought, in terms of the quality of their lives, not the quality of the movie, this movie made my top 10 of last year. I thought it was genuinely perfect. It is so well acted. The entire point of the movie with Zac Efron's "I used to be a brother" delivery is devastating and sad, and his physical transformation in that movie is insane.
He looks insane compared to everybody else.
Yeah, like Jeremy Allen White's still muscular, but everyone else, but Zac Efron especially, put in the work and maybe something else, but that's not up for us to say.
True.
Really,
if millions are on the line, then
yeah. I just wish it would have, because it's really smart and really genuinely passionate about the people it's depicting. You can tell that it cares about the lives of the people that it's commenting on, and it's genuinely a really smart commentary on generational trauma and toxic masculinity, and the idea of it's okay to feel your feelings and finally accepting that. The scene at the end where his sons are telling him it's okay to cry, everybody cries, is one of the most emotionally devastating moments from last year. And the unfortunate thing is, I'm not even sure if the Academy overlooked it. I think they just submitted it too late. And I'm not one of those people that fully buys into the superhero decline. I think that it's all about quality.
Yes.
But I think it says something that 2 movies came out on my birthday last year. It was Aquaman 2 and The Iron Claw. And I would rather have seen The Iron Claw than Aquaman 2. And that's exactly what happened. Because that one, thankfully, I didn't see Aquaman 2 on my birthday, because that would have been...
Don't worry, I suffered with you.
Yeah, no, we saw that together, the Monday after.
Oh, man.
It really says something that I didn't go and see a superhero movie, opening weekend.
Yeah.
And I did not feel bothered to, and then we saw it, and we were both kind of in denial.
It's I have to like it, please.
Yeah, you're like...
I love the first Aquaman movie.
I like every time they cut to the first Aquaman movie.
The
you're
amount of times they did it.
That's a much better movie that you keep
hey guys,
showing
remember
me.
this last movie? Yeah.
Things from... I love The Iron Claw, though. I think it should have been nominated for practically everything. Best director, best... actors for sure. Actors and writing.
In this movie for Zac Efron, he definitely showed he can, with the right director, he can act. Him,
and I'm really glad the Bear catapulted Jeremy Allen White, because I think he's an incredible actor. To me, he's kind of the secret second most important character in it, because he's not in it for a while at first until he is, and you can really feel that sense of him. He was the one that was supposed to be an Olympian, and I didn't know this story beforehand. However, my dad did, and I showed him the trailer for this, and he got really excited about this movie because he knew this story, and he thought all the same things. He thought it was devastating, and I know that if a movie can make my dad tear up, then it's done its job, and this was one of them for sure.
Your dad's a hard, strong man.
He absolutely is, and this
No,
was
he's
one of
not.
those movies.
He's really nice and kind.
But he's also like, yeah, I work hard. My family.
Oh yeah, because of those photos.
Which one? Where he's like Chapulin for my 8th birthday party, and I was Batman.
No.
Which
No.
one?
The ones where it's like
where he's in
Peaky
this...
Blinders.
Oh,
Like Cillian Murphy.
I thought you were gonna talk about when my dad was in, like, he sent me a picture of him with no context in a sewer, and he was like covered in shit.
Oh, that's funny though. See, that's what I'm thinking.
And I sent that to you, and you were like, "That looks exactly like you," in a picture you would send me.
Oh. Okay, well, clearly you just dug up a memory right there. I don't know what.
This was a few months ago.
What?
It was.
Not a few
I could
months
literally
ago.
show you. I save all of our messages and everything you've ever sent me.
Interesting.
What did you think of this year's Oscars in terms of performance-wise?
Like quality of movies or just
Quality of, not the movies necessarily, although we can get into that, but more like the presentation itself, like the hosts and the
Oh.
performances too.
The performances were great. I loved when Becky G showed up. I love Becky G.
Right.
I'm not afraid to say it, unlike others. I'm calling you out, Daniel. Sorry, I didn't.
For
I had to
the Hot
clarify.
Cheeto movie.
Yeah.
Did you see Flamin' Hot?
No.
I haven't seen it either.
Is it good?
I
Or
know
have you heard it's good?
I can't really add on if I know if it's good or not. All I can tell you is that my parents liked it, and I don't know what that means.
Hey, I mean, was your mom awake the entire time?
Maybe.
Like my mom too.
Yeah.
Mom's like, my mom only pays attention when there's action happening.
My mom, I don't know how you can get her to pay attention. It just depends on each movie. She's really unpredictable about that. Like, I know for a fact that she thought that John Wick 4 was really good, but also slow. I don't know how to... Yeah, don't... My opinions on that movie are not hers. I think the movie's perfect. Let's get that factually correct.
But, yeah, the presentation for the Oscars this year was... I'm trying to remember. I haven't seen every single, like, Oscar ceremony. Because I just really care who won and who gets nominated. Just because at the end I feel like whoever hosts any of these, it's just not as entertaining as me knowing who wins.
So for me, I've watched the past few. I accidentally missed the first half hour of yesterday's because we were on the wrong ABC.
I genuinely thought it was at 7.
Why was the red carpet on there if they weren't going to put it on the actual ABC? That was so confusing to me.
I don't know.
Anyway, like, apparently we missed a monologue about, like, him making fun of Transformers Rise of the Beast, and everyone got mad about it because he said it was written by AI, and everyone was like, why would you make that joke after the writer's strike just ended?
That's pretty funny. I'm
But
not gonna lie.
I liked that Transformers movie. That's my takeaway from it.
Yeah, I liked it too. I enjoyed it.
I watched part of it recently, and sure enough, my favorite moment's still when Bumblebee jumps out of the plane to that song. That part's cool. But I really liked the presentation, aside from some of the jokes that did not land at all. Some of them was just not funny in the slightest.
Oh, like the Poor Things?
Oh, the one that Emma Stone got mad about? Yeah.
It was so obvious too.
It's just like, I hate when they go for the easy joke when it's like, I fell asleep from this movie that's long. Or I remember the jokes about The Irishman when that came out, where it was like, I broke it up into episodes or whatever. I think Jimmy Kimmel makes that joke like every year.
I think it's what you said. It's just an easy joke to make, especially when it comes to movies that are long. But I don't know. I never. You and I both are like, we never understand what people mean when it's like it's too long.
I hate that complaint. I hate it a lot actually, because I think if you're gonna set aside some time for a movie, wouldn't you want it to be the exact runtime it should be? Then you run into really poorly paced movies or movies that should be longer and aren't.
Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice,
the ultimate cut.
I guess all of Zack Snyder's movies.
Anything Zack Snyder does, including Rebel Moon, which we're gonna review those eventually when the extended cuts come out. But we're waiting on that because I refuse to buy into whatever Netflix is doing. With that, we've discussed this in advance already. But Poor Things is also what, like 2 hours and 25 minutes, and
It did not feel that way.
I don't think it feels that way either. But it's all about how you use time. Like we just talked about Kung Fu Panda 4. Movie felt so long, and it's like 90 minutes. It's just about how you pace things, and it's also fine for things to be slow paced and utilize their time really well. But we're gonna go like category by category here in a second. But I also want to add that the reason why I think this Oscars worked so well is for one person, and one person in particular.
John
Cena?
No.
John, I love John Mulaney. Have you ever seen any of his stand-up?
No, now I want to. When he just did that alone, I was fully invested.
I think he might be my favorite stand-up comedian, along with like Gabriel Iglesias, which I have a really soft spot for because I do love him. And all of his stand-ups like that. Oh, wow. Kind of. I think he's so funny, and I haven't seen his latest special, but he's one of those people that I'm like, if I ever see him live or like get the opportunity to, I want to know when he'll be like in the Austin area for sure. I think he's hilarious, but I hope he hosts next year. That's what everyone's saying, that they hope that it's him that decides to host, or they decide to pick to host.
Okay.
I would like, you know how they always go over on time? I'd be cool if he just went over in time.
And they typically pick the same people all the time. It's always some like late night talk show host.
But I get it's probably because they also do monologues, but they need better writing for the jokes on their team. There was one joke I thought was hilarious, and it was the dog from Anatomy of a Fall that is like clapping whenever.
Oh yeah.
I like that.
There's no way that was a writer. It was probably like on the spot.
You think?
Yeah, somebody had like dog paws.
That was him. He did that. The one person, his name is Ryan Gosling. I think that is one of the best performances I've ever seen
in my life.
No, genuinely. It has film references to Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, which is a movie I love with Marilyn Monroe from, wow, it's been a while. I do not remember the exact date of that movie. It was a movie I had to study in college, but it's great. And the choreography was amazing. He can sing really well. And I like his crowd work in it to actually like go up to each of the stars.
Oh, the Barbie.
And specifically with Emma Stone, because
when that happened, I'm a diehard La La Land.
Yeah.
It should have won in
Best Picture
instead of Moonlight. I love Moonlight as well, but in terms of, I think that's one issue when I had when it comes to the Oscars too, where I feel in terms of Best Picture, it should it should be a movie that people still think and talk about, or even if you just mention the name, people go, "Oh yeah, I love that movie. Oh, I hear great things about it." But if you talk about other movies that won Best Picture, it's probably not the same way.
See, it's hard to separate the bubble like of film people from like real life people. I love Moonlight, and I still had to talk about it like years after it came out, but I also had to like learn about its editing techniques in college. Not everybody has to do that.
Yeah.
And watch it again is still amazing, but I will say this, I do still watch La La Land because I want to watch that movie. I love it a lot, and I do love Damien Chazelle's work a lot. We are Babylon fans. Babylon should have been
nominated, maybe won a few things.
That movie, I'll wait till the day it gets one of those articles that says 10 years ago Babylon came out. Did we get it wrong? And you will be right to say that you got it wrong, because I think that movie's incredible. We watched it again recently. And the biggest compliment I can give a movie is that it inspires me to want to make something, and that is how I felt after we watched that again recently. And then we saw Iron Claw again right after, and then I felt really sad. But that's one of the best compliments I can give one of the speeches as well. I found a lot of them really inspiring. Godzilla -1, we're going to actually get into more with a full-on like in-depth review of that whenever Godzilla X Kong comes out, because I do want to discuss that movie more because of how incredible it is. I think it deserves a whole lot of time dedicated to it. But aside from that, their speech was amazing. I loved their custom like shoes that had the Godzilla heel, and then they all brought the toys up, and one of them was like intentionally golden plated so it looked like an Oscar but Godzilla. And I love that they genuinely seemed happy to be there, and their speech was like really energetic,
Yeah.
and they all tried to talk, which I love that movie a lot, and I'm really happy that it won something. That's another movie that missed the window to submit. I wish it would have won foreign film.
Wait, so there's different windows to submit.
I
For
believe
the categories?
that there are. And the thing that sucks about the foreign film category is you can only submit one film per country.
Oh.
And we're going to look into the list right now of what did win that, which I'm not even sure what was in the Japan category.
Okay.
But the other one that I loved was there was this short, but this one just hits for me specifically because there was this short film about two public educators that were in, it was like a documentary short that they also were music educators as well, like in a public school.
Oh, yes.
And they made a documentary about trying to give back to the public and public education. And they were also aspiring filmmakers. I think that obviously hits for me because I am a public school teacher and they achieved their dream of being there. So it's just like one of those things where you see yourself in that. And obviously people always joke about how like, hey, if you were to ever accept like your Oscar in person and like you practice in the shower, like, Erwin, what are you going to go up there and say? Let's say you like get best adapted screenplay for something that you read.
La La Land. What would I say? I'd be nervous. I would stumble my words, and then I would first take a huge breath.
Yeah.
Just breathe in, breathe out. But most importantly, I would definitely be the type of guy that have a piece of paper thanking who I want to thank, but also saying what I would want to say.
I know I wouldn't be able to prep a paper because I'd probably think that I wouldn't have won anything. So I'd probably like walk up there with no...
I'd rather be safe than sorry. Because if I went up there not knowing, or like knowing that, oh, I won't win, and then I win.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't know what to say.
That's what happened to Emma Stone, I'm pretty sure. But
yeah, when I saw the way she reacted to it.
Yeah.
And when she got out there, I was like, oh, yeah, she did not. I did not expect her to win too.
I want to get more into that movie specifically whenever we can, but we're going to go ahead and start off by like going on the categories. We are on the official website right now, theoscars.org.
Oh, it's an orc.
So we'll look at actor in a leading role, which was Jeffrey Wright in American Fiction, Paul Giamatti in The Holdovers, Coleman Domingo in Rustin, Bradley Cooper in Maestro, and Cillian Murphy in Oppenheimer. Have you seen any of these?
No.
I know that you have.
Why are you asking me?
Because they don't know.
Who's they?
The audience.
I've seen Oppenheimer.
Okay.
What's the other one? I think that was it.
So I've seen, I won't lie to you, I have not had the time to see all of these either, but I've seen 3 out of the 5 nominees, I believe. And I loved The Holdovers. I thought that movie was genuinely warm and really well written. And Paul Giamatti is absolutely incredible in it. This is the type of movie that we always say in a different year. For example, Dune 2 was supposed to come out last year. Could you imagine?
Ugh.
But Jeffrey Wright in American Fiction, I also thought was really stellar. He elevates the material for that. But I want to comment on that movie more when we get to adapted screenplay. But let's go ahead and get into Oppenheimer because it won a whole bunch of stuff. So let's just go ahead and discuss that movie right now. That was a movie that was good enough that whenever we were discussing bringing the podcast back over the summer, I really wish we would have for that and Barbie. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, hey, we can talk about it right now. So, Christopher Nolan, him as a director.
He is him.
And Cillian Murphy as an actor. What are your opinions on these things?
I love both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen the latest season of Peaky Blinders, but I've always known about Cillian Murphy. But the moment I saw him in Peaky Blinders, I fell in love with him. And so when he got casted in Oppenheimer as the lead, I was so excited just because knowing how great of an actor he is already, and then knowing how great Christopher Nolan is as a director, I just knew it was going to be great. And so seeing how the movie came out, and of course people loving it, I loved the movie, and them actually winning for the roles that they played and did. So I
So
was happy about it.
I love Oppenheimer
No, you
a
don't.
lot. Yes,
No,
I
you
do.
don't.
It was my number one movie of last year.
Really?
Yes. It was also yours, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. I haven't done.
I had to toss back and forth between that and Killers of the Flower Moon, but at the end of the day, they're both really perfect.
Yeah.
But I did pick Oppenheimer as my number one.
It does suck knowing that if a lot of great movies come out one year, they get all nominated.
Yeah.
Only one of them wins. But knowing that it only takes 1 year where if your movie stands out the most, then you'll win.
It just sucks because Martin Scorsese in particular, I don't know what it is about the Academy that they like intentionally set him up in this way to like not win anything ever.
Yes.
But I adore that man and I love everything that he does.
Yes.
I think his last movie was what? It was The Irishman, but that was up against Parasite and
Yeah, Parasite was.
that was for me, this was the best year for movies last year, I mean, since 2019. I thought that they were just as comparable to each other.
Did you see Coda?
No.
Yeah.
And that won Best Picture, didn't it?
Yeah, it won, I think, 2020 or 2021. That one. Because I was looking at, like, the Best Picture winners, like, for at least, like, the 2020s.
Yeah.
So it was Parasite, Coda, what was the...
Green Book.
No, I don't think Green Book won.
Green Book won Best Picture.
It did?
It's highly talked about that it shouldn't have.
Oh, shoot. I mean, I haven't seen Green Book. See, that's what I mean.
It was okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's where I talk about where, like, movies that win Best Picture,
Yeah.
it's movies that people don't talk about later on as much. And that's where I think about it. Because I feel like people still talk about Parasite probably because of the fact of that.
Because that's one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah. It's amazing. I love that movie so much.
The anime.
I haven't seen the anime.
It has
There's
nothing
the
to
name.
do with.
I know. I'm saying like the name. It's similar because it's literally called Parasite as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think. What were we talking about?
Oppenheimer.
I was thinking about Parasite now.
Originally, yeah. It's the same thing every year. It's always like, why is it that only every once in a while? I agree with the notion of the Oscars are dumb until the thing that I like wins.
It's rigged until the movie that I want to win wins.
But this year in particular, a lot of the wins were inspiring to me, and the speeches I thought were amazing. I think it's funny that the narrative of Christopher Nolan is that he's like never won before. When I can't help it. I do have film bro tendencies. We both do.
No, I don't.
He's maybe my favorite director, him or Martin Scorsese, or I don't know. It depends on the day, right? It depends on the movie.
Depends on my mood.
Yeah. But I think it's funny that recently Tenet came out and people are doing the revisionist like, oh, it's always been a masterpiece.
Gosh,
However,
I hate that so
I want
much.
to get ahead of that right now. We have always been...
We've always loved Tenet.
I remember getting out of it and I was
Yeah.
like, this movie
It's
fucking
amazing.
rocks. Yeah.
And then just seeing everyone's reviews for it, I don't know. It's just when people say it doesn't make sense. I don't understand. It's like, what do you mean?
I love in his interviews when Christopher Nolan's like, I don't get it either. Just feel it.
Just feel the moment.
It's just funny that that's the narrative, that it's like Christopher Nolan has always been regarded as one of the best filmmakers of all time. He made the Dark Knight trilogy. He made Tenet, Memento, The Prestige, Inception. And now people are like, okay, but Oppenheimer finally is like the acknowledgement. And honestly, it is one of his best movies. It's like arguably, if you put it in the competition for the best and you said that that was your favorite, I'd understand it, because I mean, Dark Knight is like the most inspirational movie to me that like ever. It's part of the reason I initially wanted to get in film in the first place. So it's hard for me to judge him specifically off of like his other movies. All I can really think is like, I thought this was incredible. I thought this was perfect. We finally got to see Interstellar again a few months ago in theaters. And that was your first time having seen it in a theater, right?
Yeah, I tend to, if they ever release a movie that I've seen at home and I regret not watching it in theaters and they release it again in theaters, I make it a thing where I have to go see it again.
This is the year for Fury Road, man. I swear.
I gotta see that movie in theaters.
Because you hadn't beforehand, right?
It was my whole John Wick situation where
I gave you the Blu-ray for it?
Yeah, and I was like, this movie's amazing. But that's what I heard about the John Wick movie, that nobody saw it in theaters, but everybody watched it at home.
So it did okay. The thing about John Wick is the reason why I remember. It was a day in high school. I was not there. I think one of you had texted me, like, where are you?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, I'm staying home with my dad today. And he was so excited for this movie already. He was like, I remember seeing a preview and it looked like Taken 4, basically. The preview just wasn't doing it justice, but then you get in the theater and you were watching it. And I remember we saw it at like a 1 p.m. matinee or something.
Oh, okay.
We got in and out beforehand. I remember because I still have the Facebook picture for it, and I was wearing a Rocky shirt.
Nice.
And I think I texted you after. I don't remember what happened. I just remember being like transfixed by that movie after it was finished. And that's how it happens, right? That's how like movies are kind of discovered.
I think it's also during the time when Nicholas Winding Refn was making movies, or like either that or either was a movie was coming out, or I know for me at least I was watching a bunch of his movies.
Like Only God Forgives.
Yeah.
Which
and
is,
it was like all movies that had a bunch of neon.
yeah, which was a trend for a while.
Yeah. And so John Wick had that. And so it was a great movie.
But in terms of Oppenheimer, I thought this was like genuinely prestige level filmmaking. It's a blockbuster in which no action happens. It has the same kind of click and intensity of dialogue that something from like Sorkin would have.
Mm-hmm.
I love
I wonder what he's doing now.
He made something like last year, I think.
Like The Trials?
No, I love that movie. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
It's really good. But he made like a show. He made a movie after that. There was something with Javier Bardem.
Oh, I don't know.
It was sort of about I Love Lucy, I think.
Oh, he wrote that? Or
I could be wrong, but I could have sworn.
it's
But
with
people,
like Nicole Kidman?
I think so. But
Okay.
people didn't like love it at all.
Oh, okay.
Which you do also need a proper director to adapt his dialogue. And I remember, I think he directed that, which is funny because I remember somebody saying the worst director for his dialogue is himself.
Oh, because remember that one movie with Jessica Chastain?
Which one?
Um,
The Eyes of Tammy Faye?
no, the other one. The one where she's like hosting like this gambling.
Oh,
thing for
Molly's
fans.
Game.
Molly's
I
Game.
loved Molly's Game,
Yeah.
actually.
Didn't people say the same thing? It's just like the way the direction was.
Yeah, which I disagreed with because I loved that movie a
Mhm.
lot, actually.
Well, I mean, you
But-
couldn't have mentioned it. You didn't like mention it at all. So
You mentioned it.
Yeah.
But it's really an achievement that there's a 3-hour movie out there that nobody seems to be complaining about the runtime for, might I add, because of how well done all of it is.
Mhm.
All the dialogue is intense. I love Albert Einstein, and
He'll show up again.
I love the moment in that movie
I love
where
all
he
the
like
memes.
pops out behind the car. You know how that's how you can measure a movie's pop culture status by how good it is right now based off of how popular the memes get for it.
Yeah. Literally everything with Barbie as well.
Barbie and Oppenheimer and Doom 2
Mhm.
now.
I loved when they mentioned it with Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling,
Oh yeah,
like the rivalry.
because they'll
Doom
also be
2.
in the Fall Guy.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the Fall Guys, but that's a video game
Oh,
where they all fall. That's the objective.
fall if you dare.
But I remember thinking, like, it's also really funny that you just know that Christopher Nolan must be watching like old children's shows because of his daughters, because he said that he cast Devin Bostic from Project Rules on purpose and Josh Peck from Drake and Josh,
Oh man, that's hilarious.
which is just a funny idea to think about, that he intentionally cast people that way because I think he said that he wanted them to, like, the scientists to have a kind of star power because they were treated that way
Mm-hmm.
back then. And
That makes sense.
I remember my boy Rami Malek was
My
like
boy.
has one of the best moments in that movie towards the end.
I think you're kind of biased.
He does. I'm just saying.
I know the best moment is when Florence Pugh and Cillian Murphy are just having sex in that room with other people there. That felt so awkward and weird. But I mean, that's the point. To
I
feel
like that
uncomfortable.
visual choice though. Like I think people were explaining.
No,
the-
I'm saying like I'm saying I agree with it.
Oh,
I'm not saying I disagree.
well, you're Mr. I hate sex scenes,
I didn't
so
say
it's
that.
like
I said if there's no point of it and you're using it as a way to like keeping the audience like participating as in paying attention, then
Yeah.
yes, I don't like that.
Is there any example you could give me off the top of your head that does that?
No.
Okay, well.
I'm
We're just
really-
intensely staring at me.
I don't-
So let's go on to actor in a supporting role. This
Okay.
category is awesome, I think. Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer, who of course won. Sterling K. Brown in American Fiction.
I love Sterling K. Brown. He's a
I
great actor.
loved him in that movie, but I will say before I like give my full opinions on that movie, I don't think he's in it enough. There's Robert De Niro in Killers of the Flower Moon, Ryan Gosling in Barbie, and Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things. Do you think that this was a valid choice, or is there anything that you wish would have won over this?
I mean, I would love Ryan Gosling to win. I'm just Ken, or not, or just as Ken.
Yeah, you
But-
mean the song, or do you mean both
Both.
things? Okay.
I guess both things, but it's more of a. I know for a fact I'll remember that performance,
Yeah.
that song, for years to come, compared to Robert De Niro. That's how I see it. Or what performance where I will still remember,
Yeah.
even later on, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm still happy about the Robert Downey Jr. winning because
Yeah.
at the end he did a fantastic job compared to how Ryan Gosling's character as Ken.
I think this is hard for me because I think that Robert Downey Jr. should have won, but this is why I like that the Golden Globes exist because they have Best Actor in a Comedy or Musical
Oh yes,
and then Best Actor in a Drama
yeah, that makes sense.
because that's the best of both worlds right there. I think that people do not ever give enough credit to the physicality or the comedic timing that goes into a performance, and Ryan Gosling excels at that.
And Seth Rogen.
Right. He was also great in The Fabelmans.
When he laughed, nice.
In The
Or
Fabelmans?
just in general.
No, I was like, I don't think he does in that. He cheats on
We don't know that. She just wants to be with him.
Okay, but definitely happens, right?
I don't want to believe that.
Hey, if you haven't seen The Fabelmans, do. Nobody saw it, and
It's a fantastic
it's
movie.
incredible. I remember that was one of the movies last year where we were like, is this another one of those like Oscar bait things? But then you watch it, and I love that movie. I wish it would have like, what's his name? The kid that plays Spielberg.
He didn't get nominated.
He should have specifically for that like hallway scene towards the end. That's like
yeah.
practically out of The Social Network. Also,
I mean, usually when scenes like that happen, we're just like, all right, that's the scene they're gonna show.
no, you're always like, this is the scene. The one for Robert Downey Jr. is the one where he's like, he should be thanking me, and
Yeah.
that scene alone is kind of why like I understand why he won. And for me personally, I think he should have. That's a performance I think I'll remember.
The Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
I mean, he did win, didn't you?
No, I know, but you were like, I hated it, and I think that he
Whoa,
should never.
I never said that. I just think it'd be funny if Ryan Gosling.
But I also think that Ryan Gosling should be thrown in the ring more often for performances like that because The Nice Guys also proves that he can do that. I'm glad that that movie was put on Netflix because now people know about it. And
I want a second one.
I think that there's a small chance, but there's a chance of it happening that maybe somebody somewhere will see that performance that he gave last night and be like,
Yes.
hey, what's that movie that goes like viral all the time for random clips, and make another one because they do set up like.
No, I'm pretty sure Ryan Gosling's gonna get more roles based off the last few years. Especially depending on how the Fall Guy goes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Ryan Gosling's gonna get more roles than before.
He said he wants to do more movies like that are just kind of like funny, I guess.
Yeah, just ones where he doesn't have to like.
Yeah, which I
know.
mean, Blade Runner 2049, he's incredible in, but he
Yes.
was like in, maybe it's because he was in just such stoic roles for so long where
Yes.
he didn't get to speak that now he can.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I also loved Robert De Niro in Killers of the Flower Moon. I just wish this movie would have come out maybe a different year because
We'd say that about every Martin Scorsese movie.
I know.
It just feels that any other director that comes close to how because it's just Martin Scorsese makes the same quality movies. They're just amazing.
For me, it's always a 5-star. Like,
Yeah, I just can't see it where it's like, oh, I missed this. It's like, no, I don't see that whatsoever.
yeah.
And I think I can understand why whoever votes in the Oscars and everything, why they wouldn't just choose his movies all the time because it's well, it's just another Martin Scorsese movie. It's fantastic. So we have to choose another one.
But people also go under that thing of like, oh, it's another Martin Scorsese movie, so it's another mob movie. And this movie's not a mob movie. I mean, it has elements of crime and things that are doing, like, they're doing bad things to good people. But I understand, like, that this movie is about evil and how America is evil. And I don't know if it's about, like, the hesitation to nominate a movie like that, but I feel like the Oscars don't have that issue sometimes. I mean, Oppenheimer won Best Picture. I do love Silence.
I love Silence.
But I guess it's wrong to say that because Oppenheimer won Best Picture, and that's a commentary on how there's the acceptance speech of whoever says, I can't remember who said it, but they were like, I mean, I think it was Cillian Murphy. He was like, we adapted something and it is Oppenheimer's world now. We're just living in it because he did create how did they phrase it in the Oscars? They said it was like a humanly made story about an inhumane thing that was made. But I do adore Oppenheimer and Killers of the Flower Moon. It has the same kind of commentary on America and the same issues. And I thought they were both just really smart movies. Ryan Gosling.
I mean, so far, all the wins I'm not upset about.
Yeah. I'm not upset about the nominations either because I think Mark Ruffalo was also really, really funny in Poor Things. And Ryan Gosling those are like based off of more of like a comedic standpoint, I think. Yeah.
That's true. I wish if they had anything like another category for just separate, like the way they do with the Golden Globes.
Yeah. This one is a bit more controversial. It's probably arguably the most controversial category that happened last night. It was Carey Mulligan in Maestro for actress in a leading role, Sandra Hüller in Anatomy of a Fall, Lily Gladstone in Killers of the Flower Moon, Annette Bening in Naiad, and then Emma Stone in Poor Things. What were your feelings on this category and this win in particular?
I've only seen 2 movies, and that was Killers of the Flower Moon and what was the other one she was in? Poor Things?
Yeah.
So Emma Stone and Lily Gladstone. And based off of like all the other award shows that were happening, I didn't know, right? At first I was like, oh, it seems like Lily Gladstone had it for me. And then whenever I did see Poor Things later on, I was like, wow, Emma Stone is amazing in this movie, and I can see why she got nominated. But I just didn't see her. I think it was just more of those bias things where it's like, well, it's kind of obvious if they would choose Lily Gladstone because they typically like to award people who haven't won an Oscar
beforehand.
Yes. Yeah. And like to give it to them. And then especially a role where it's about Native American like heritage.
And that's something that is being more and more discussed, and it should. I think it's very important to history, and it's something that's been erased for so long. And I'm glad that this movie exists now, for sure.
Yeah. And so I genuinely thought it was going to be her. But then I think everyone was shocked knowing that it was Emma Stone.
I think Emma Stone herself was shocked. She, everyone in the Twitter this morning agreed. They were like, I don't think I've ever seen anybody more scared to have won an Oscar before. Because like you just know the kind of all that really tells me is that she's also on Twitter, like some burner account somewhere. But I'll phrase it this way: I think Killers of the Flower Moon is obviously like the better movie. Although I gave both of them 5 stars because I also loved Poor Things. Yeah, but
I don't know what I'm thinking. Oh, I think I gave Killers of the Flower Moon 5.
And I
gave Poor Things 4.5.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I did want to ask about that, your issues with it, but I think I want to get more into like that one whenever we get into the Best Picture, ones that we talk about. But Emma Stone gives her best performance of her career, I think. It's like really...
No.
You don't think so?
No, it's La La Land. And she won.
I love that movie, but...
No.
Okay. Well, I think that this movie requires a certain kind of physicality that she brings to it. That like the idea of depicting a toddler kind of in like an adult, and the way she shows that her growth is throughout that, I think that's like a really specific kind of performance. But I do kind of wish it would have been Lily Gladstone. I understand the Emma Stone win, but Lily Gladstone has a really understated, quiet, emotional depth to the movie that she's in that is the anchor and the emotional center of it, because she's the good person, like the good person in that movie that you follow. So Leonardo DiCaprio's kind of, I don't want to call it betrayal, but his final scene at the end where she's giving him like one last kind of opportunity to tell the truth and he doesn't do it, and the sort of feeling you get when she leaves is only underscored by her performance beforehand, I think it is a really intensely quiet and smart performance that she gives in that movie. And it was probably for me like the best one of last year. Mm-hmm. Now, don't get me wrong, I do love Emma Stone, though. I do want to clarify that. But Lily Gladstone, like you said, also has the narrative of there was that picture going around like most likely to win an Oscar, which I really like that picture. Mm-hmm. And what else was it? She also hosted something I was kind of obsessed with when I was in high school, the crash course on filmmaking, which I learned recently that she was.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Had you ever seen those before?
I think no, maybe I haven't seen the filmmaking aspect.
Yeah.
But I've seen the other ones.
I like History Now, but I remember us being only shown Crash Course in high school, which
sophomore year.
Yeah, only Crash Course, right?
Crash Course, and then they give us a sheet, and you have to fill it out based off what.
It's because we were taught by coaches, so they didn't care about. Which, by the way, speaking as a public educator now, I know that just means you're lazy, but
I'm just here to teach football and basketball. That's it.
And then I remember
and occasional history.
Dude, when I was in like, I think it was AP government or something like that, I remember the guy who would just be like, make an assignment about economy.
Make your own assignment.
I remember I got like a 67 on. I was like, what's wrong with it? And he was like, you didn't add enough detail. I was like, detail for what?
Yeah, read the syllabus. Read the rubric.
I'd like to correct that and say that after 67, I got to redo that assignment and got a 97 after. I didn't change that much, Erwin.
I added one comma.
No, I think I added like pictures.
I can't.
He was a visual learner, I guess.
Yeah. Just like actually draw pictures.
Oh yeah. No, I think that's what it was.
I can't. They're like the worst types of teachers, but also the best types of teachers.
What? Because you can just get on your phone and.
Yeah, I mean it's like little to no work, but it just means that when they do give you work, you just need to do it, and that's it.
Yeah, and you'll pass.
Yeah.
I remember I would watch movies while I did the work in that class and not talk to anybody.
Well, yeah, because you finish the assignment that takes like 15 minutes.
Yeah, because we had this thing called Pride Time. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I remember I had Pride Time in the same place, and so it meant that I had a 2-hour block in that class. Yeah. So I was like, well, that means I have enough time for any amount of movies that are under 2 hours. I saw First Blood in that classroom. But, that's how I learned what VPNs are. Per our last video, don't pirate things. So, actress in a supporting role was Jodie Foster and Nyad. By the way, what was Nyad?
I don't know. I still don't know.
You don't know what it's about? No. It actually sounded interesting, but it sounded like one of those things where you're like, of course this got nominated. I didn't even know what this was beforehand. Yeah. We always do this thing every year where I'm like on my way to work and I'm watching the nominations, and then I call you either that day or the day after so we can like talk about whichever, like, dude, this thing got nominated, this thing didn't get nominated. Yeah. Which, by the way, you cannot just use footage from RRR and not nominate that movie for Best Foreign Film and say that, like, I don't know, it irritated me. I think you missed them using it.
No, I did. I saw that.
But they did it again. They did it like
stunt making.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's what they showcased it.
No, but they did it again later for like the best like foreign film, and they had it in like.
Oh, that's weird. I don't know.
You can't just correct your past mistakes. Like take it back.
Damn. Calm down. It's over.
If you haven't seen RRR, change your life.
Has everything you need in a movie.
Genuinely everything, and one of the best dance numbers you'll ever see. But Nyad is about this woman. Her last name is Nyad. That's what I remember.
Oh, really?
And she swims across like the world.
Okay.
And it's based off like a real thing that happened. And Jodie Foster is Nyad, I think. I don't know. Because I'm kind of confused because it says Jodie Foster Nyad, but I was like, Emily Blunt wasn't Oppenheimer.
Who won for supporting role?
Divine Joy Randolph in The Holdovers, but let's get that into a second. It was also America Ferrera in Barbie, which was a choice, I think.
I just didn't expect her to get nominated, and then Margot Robbie
not get nominated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess once they showed that clip of America, just that speech that she had.
The speech that's like the point of the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's where you're just like, okay, well, they literally said her, and here's the example.
Yeah.
And it just didn't feel like it wasn't wrong, but it wasn't like I expected her to win.
This is obviously one of those cases of like the thing that it's commenting on, we like can't really speak on a whole lot ourselves, but I think it's really smartly written, and I think that like the whole point, some people critique its simplicity and that it's like not subtle on purpose. That's exactly why I think it's smart. It's not subtle on purpose. But I think that for a performance to be nominated, you need more than just one scene to have something like that. And I don't even remember much else about her role in that movie.
It's
to
like
be honest
that
with you.
Movie Spotlight with Mark
Oh
Ruffalo.
yeah, in the one scene.
And you and I were just like, all right, this is that one scene, the one scene where everybody's voice is like the same tone.
Yeah.
Except for Mark Ruffalo in that one scene where he just yells.
And everyone else is like...
Yeah. It's like, whoa.
I get the point, because the whole movie's understated, and then there's that one scene. But, I mean, we don't really have a popular opinion on Spotlight. I think it's good, not great, but everyone else thinks it's, like, incredible.
Didn't that win Best Picture?
Yes.
Better not.
I don't remember. I think
Actually,
it did.
I don't remember. What year did it... 2016?
2015.
I don't know.
I think that movie came out in 2015.
Okay.
This is the same issue with... No. Birdman came out in 2014, and that one 2015. I do remember that because I loved that movie.
Because Michael Keaton went back to back.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Because I love that movie a lot, Birdman.
Yeah, Birdman's
I'm happy that won Best Picture the year that it did. Although I guess in my head it should be Grand Budapest Hotel, but they have a whole thing with Wes Anderson.
They hate him
for whatever reason. I just don't know what it is. I mean,
he's finally an Oscar winner.
Yeah, for his short.
Yeah.
And he wasn't there. But
he probably didn't expect to win.
Danielle Brooks from The Color Purple, which I didn't see. Did you see?
No, I didn't see it.
They got to stop releasing movies on Christmas Day, I think, because people don't see them if they come out on Christmas Day.
Yeah, it just sucks knowing that you're watching the Oscars, and majority of these movies, either they're not on digital yet.
Yeah.
And if they are, you have to pay $20. Or like basically a whole I'd rather just get the physical media.
That's literally buying a Blu-ray now. Yeah.
And I would rather wait till the Blu-ray's out to own it, and just having it on there.
No, like we both said, we love musicals. I guess that was in a previous episode, but we want more musicals, and I'm sad I missed this because I didn't get to see it, and it's a musical. But the other nominee was Emily Blunt for Oppenheimer, which I totally understand. She has an incredible scene at the end with the handshaking thing from what I remember. But Divine Joy Randolph in The Holdovers, I also completely get, because that movie is filled with performances like that are like rooted in a kind of emotion. And that's the whole point of that movie, is there's a sort of bittersweet, understated like melancholy to the whole thing. So it requires actors to be able to portray a kind of sadness without like yelling or screaming.
Oh yeah.
And I thought her and Paul Giamatti did that really well. Well, Dominic Sessa is like louder than them, but he's incredible in it too. This one is interesting because I guess I would ask you if you agreed with that last one, but you hadn't seen it, right?
Which one? Oh,
Best Supporting Actress.
Oh yeah, I haven't really seen anything from it except like Oppenheimer, I think.
Yeah. Animated feature film is interesting because it's kind of everywhere. It was Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Robot Dreams, Nimona, Elemental, and The Boy and the Heron. What's your opinion on this
I've seen
category?
only one. No, it's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't know. I haven't seen The Boy and the Heroine. I hear... Oh, I keep saying that. I'm going to keep saying I don't care.
The Boy and the Heroine?
Yeah, the heroine and the boy. I keep hearing mixed things about it. Maybe not mixed things.
The Boy and the Heron?
Yeah. And just more so, it's not as great compared to the other Studio Ghibli movies.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't know. I have to form my own opinion.
So, well, before I like really get into that movie, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, your thoughts on it?
That's all right. Psych! I loved it.
Yeah, no, we're well-known, avid Spider-Man fans here.
Yes.
We're just another two people that adore Spider-Man so much. It's like our most popular episode, I've noticed.
I hate Spider-Man. I can't stand him.
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
J. Jonah Jameson.
basically.
But we're probably going to review Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse fully whenever it re-releases, because I think that'll be fun. And I didn't run it by Erwin. I'm looking at him right now to see if he agrees. But
oh no, I have to watch another Spider-Man movie.
Again, in theaters.
It sucks.
It's the worst thing in the world. Why would you do this to me?
Alright, man.
But
I think it was
I adored that movie a lot.
Adore?
Yeah.
Where?
Right there.
Oh.
In front of us.
Do you like this movie?
Yes, I do. I loved this movie. And I think it's probably the second best Spider-Man movie, like off the top of my head.
Wait, you're comparing it to the live action ones too?
I mean, yeah, because we did that with
that stuff is hard.
Into the Spider-Verse. I can't ever remember that.
What did we say?
You put it at like number 3 or number 4, and so did I. We had the same exact list, remember?
Did you say No Way Home?
We did the ranking before we did No Way Home.
Okay. Shoot, what was my number 1 then?
Well, this was the best animated Spider-Man movie. I know that for sure. I did adore this. I loved everything about it. I even didn't mind the cliffhanger. That if anybody has an issue with it, it's usually that. But
I don't understand when people get so upset when it comes to cliffhangers.
They're cool. I don't know.
I mean, especially if the movie itself is amazing.
Yeah.
And you know you're gonna get another one. Then I love cliffhangers.
That was actually supposed to come out in March or April, this year? It's definitely not coming out this year.
No.
I know that it had some production issues and some behind the scenes stuff that, iffy on the quality of how they treated their animators. But the movie was really good. And
we love Phil Lord and Christopher Miller. Oh, what was that one show that we watched?
The
detective one.
I heard this season 2 wasn't that great. I heard it was okay, but the first season's incredible. The after party,
yes,
is so smart.
Mm-hmm.
Like how it shows their perspectives from different genres.
Yes,
that is really smart and really well done. They're very funny and very clever, and smart writers.
Jump Street movies.
Those two. I didn't see Robot Dreams. When they showed the clip from it, it looked like it had the same animation as that one PBS math show.
PBS math show?
Yeah.
Sid the Science Kid.
No, not that one. That's the science one.
Yeah, but I love that one.
That was CG. This one's 2D.
Oh.
I'll look it up later.
Okay.
It had the same... Do you remember Pop Tropica?
Yes.
It looked like that.
Well, what?
Yeah.
Like Diary of Wimpy Kid type of style?
Kind of, but a bit more like not how Greg Heffley looks. Nimona I've heard really good things about. I haven't seen it, but...
Where's that on?
Netflix.
Oh.
And I think it was also DreamWorks.
Oh.
Actually.
Okay.
Elemental has a really interesting story behind it. When that came out, no one was excited for it. People did not love the trailers for it. People were actually actively against that movie for whatever reason, which I don't know why people do this, where they just like get really upset about movies that don't exist yet or they haven't seen.
Yes.
But then no one saw it. I remember I was in Seattle on vacation at the time, and I was watching SpongeBob at 3 a.m. because the time zone was different over there. So I kept like watching that, and then I was with our friend Dakota because he was also like on a screwed up sleep schedule because I had just gotten off of work. So the time change was like as if I was waking up at like 5 a.m. So we kept both waking up early and watching that, and they would show the Elemental ad so many times for Nickelodeon. I guess because there's only one animated show out at a time usually.
Yeah.
Or movie. And it did not do well when it came out in theaters. But then it started doing well while it was in theaters, like a month later, and then I noticed more and more people were seeing it, and then it was put on Disney Plus like pretty quickly. And guess what movie blew up and got really popular when it was put on Disney Plus? Because that keeps happening, and I think they should maybe stop putting their movies on there so early if they want people to go to the theater for their movies.
Yeah, I never liked the idea because they did that years ago, where they release a movie and then a week after on streaming platform already.
Which, by the way, the reason why this happened is because of Onward. Underrated, I think, that movie.
Yes. I love Onward.
The more I see it, the more I'm like, this movie did not get its fair share when it came out. And I don't know if it's because...
It was right before the pandemic.
Yeah, like the day before, actually. I remember because you saw it.
I did.
And I didn't get to see it in a theater. Same goes for Luca. Same goes for Soul. So
Soul's
like,
amazing. I need to see that movie in theaters.
I adore all of these, and I'm glad that they're putting them out in theaters again, because I think that the other reason why people either don't remember these or are harder on these is because they didn't get the theatrical experience for them, and I think that that's important. And it's hard because I think a movie like Soul should be only seen in that way, but we're like people that are insistent that you see things in a theater.
Yes, first.
Yeah. It's like, I genuinely think, imagine we didn't see Oppenheimer and we saw it at home.
I love this movie.
Well, still, but like the sort of kind of encompassing feeling you get. Like, I wish we would have seen it in IMAX. I didn't get to. And after seeing Dune 2 in the IMAX format, I think everything that like is intended for that should only be seen that way. And it's hard, I get, like, but The Boy and the Heron is interesting because I do think it's one of his best movies. I think what people might be averse to about it is it is intentionally super challenging and really hard to grasp.
What's so challenging about it?
It is more abstract in its ideas than most Ghibli movies. We saw Spirited Away again in theaters a while back, and while I adore that movie, it's maybe still my favorite one of his. It is a bit more accessible in the way it presents its ideas, right?
Yes.
This one isn't. It feels kind of intentionally like dreamlike and up to you what's real and what isn't.
So it's up to the audience to interpret what the writer or director is trying to say.
And what it's about, yeah. But all Ghibli movies are like that. All Miyazaki movies are like that.
But majority of most like directors that they do that.
Yeah. But I can't help but wonder if people are like not averse to it yet, but they're also not used to this movie existing yet, because we are used to all of his other movies existing, because the last thing he made was The Wind Rises back in like 2012, I want to say.
I think so, 11 or 12.
But this one is super personal and really dark, and there's a lot of mature elements to it. I thought that this should have won, genuinely, because while I loved Across the Spider-Verse and thought it also had mature ideas and themes, if Miyazaki wasn't going to win again, because he is very, very much in his 90s, I think.
Wow.
This was the time to do it. And it's not because it's like what you talked about with like the legacy stuff. I just think genuinely he should have won. Yeah. Because of how amazing this is.
Also, I think when it came to the Across the Spider-Verse, the fact that they were marketing that movie as a part 1.
And then they changed it.
Yes. I think that's where it must have killed them too. Yeah. Because, I don't know. At the end of the day, you should just judge movies based off of the one movie alone. But I think that's what it held back.
What are your opinions on Miyazaki, though, as a whole, and Ghibli in general?
They're okay. Fine, right. I love them. I love him. He's going to live forever. He's going to live to 160.
His work will live on forever.
No.
And we'll all cherish him for it.
I'm going to freeze his brain.
His brain?
Yeah.
Like Disney?
Yeah.
Have you read that conspiracy about how they only made Frozen so people would stop looking up Walt Disney Frozen Head?
No, that's actually funny.
Walt Disney Head?
Hey,
so Walt Disney Head.
Hey, so you know what a Walt Disney Head is?
Frozen?
That's so funny. I do remember that.
I think they talk about that in Futurama.
I think they make jokes like that, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's your favorite Ghibli movie? What are your favorite Ghibli movies?
Of course, Spirited Away.
Yeah, that's like the given, right? Yeah.
Howl's Moving Castle.
I got a second on the Howl's Moving Castle.
Princess Mononoke.
Yeah.
As well. I think those are my few favorites for sure. But I know I still need to see a few of them. I know you got me a gift.
Oh yeah.
Of literally all of them. I still, the one movie I want to see that I heard about that I haven't had the chance to see yet is the one with the raccoons.
So yeah, I've been saving that because I love raccoons so much.
Yeah. I just after hearing what they are and what they do
with their balls.
Yes.
Yeah. You can do so much with them.
I need to see that movie.
I am glad that I didn't know this. Howl's Moving Castle wasn't considered like one of his top tier ones until just a couple years ago. And then it exploded. I remember the first time I ever saw it, I thought, I was like, this movie's phenomenal. It has also abstract ideas that you don't fully know.
I think that was the same year. What's it called? Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah.
That came out.
The cheese lover guys.
Yeah. And that movie won for best animated, not Howls.
Did it really?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, what?
I like Aardman.
Yeah.
But I'm not like, I'm way more of a Leica person in terms of claymation. I know it's hard. I know it's difficult. But I only like Wallace and Gromit. I've never like fallen in love with those two. The dog's cool. But which one? Wallace is the guy, right?
I think so, yeah.
I feel like Gromit's a dog name.
I don't know. I haven't seen that in forever. I remember when that movie did come out, my parents would play that for me.
I used to watch Wallace and Gromit at my grandma's a lot when I was younger.
What about that sheep one? Remember that show?
I love Shaun the sheep. Yeah.
I remember watching that like continuously.
I remember thinking, I can't remember who I thought was an asshole in that show, but
wasn't it just the
Shaun,
the actual sheep? They made a movie. Have you seen it?
I think there are 2 movies. I've heard they're both really good. Yeah. I think that design, like their style, works more for animals than it does for humans. Because the way their humans look bothers me, and I like can't quite get into why.
It's probably because like their mannerisms, they're everything's already fake.
Yeah.
But the fact that it just looks even more fake.
It's probably because they're British, but it's like
I hate them. I hate them British people.
Mm-mm.
Do you have any accents that you can do?
Can you do a British accent?
No.
You can't?
I can't do any accents.
No, I feel like if I'm gonna do one right now, you're gonna be like, haha, that was bad, and then I won't ever do an accent in front of you again.
Like accents like whatsoever. I'm just saying, like, can you do any?
In the shower, I can, when no one's listening to me.
That's crazy because I have a bucket of water right here.
No, you don't. Don't lie. So cinematography is
I hate that.
One of my favorite categories.
Yeah, me too. I'm not gonna lie.
I love the way things look.
When an image is there, I'm like, wow.
And I can see it. Although I've noticed I am like a stickler for shit like this because blockbusters lately, especially, I've been complaining about this on like practically each episode, but I cannot stand the way they've been looking lately. So when something comes along, I was just thinking about this earlier, that I think that the reason why blockbusters are also important to how they look is when I was younger, you know what types of movies got me into movies in the first place? Blockbusters. So I think that like genuine type of care should still be put into things like this. Like there was a time when a movie like Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince was nominated for best cinematography. And that can still happen, and it should. I just wish they put like more care and effort into that. Yeah. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince is one of the best ones, by the way.
All right, you continue.
But cinematography, I think, is really inspired for the ones I have seen. I have not seen El Conde, which I think is like a vampire Netflix movie.
Oh.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh, great.
Maestro. I don't know. And Poor Things.
Yeah.
And Oppenheimer.
Yeah. But visually, I can see who won Poor Things.
Oppenheimer.
Okay, I mean, still.
Oppenheimer, I think, won, like, for a good reason. For its sort of intense, wide scope depictions of just the impact of.
I figured it was during the scenes where it wasn't any type of dialogue, or if it was, it wasn't from like the character that you're trying to hear it from, and just like their emotion, like their physical features and like how they're showcasing like their emotions.
So Cillian Murphy
is he just carried that movie. Yeah. Like there was just many shots of him just looking.
One of the shots that's a meme is like genuinely a meme because of how much emotion he can pack into 1 second of film, and it's the one at the end where he's staring down at the.
He's so me.
The puddle. You're sad.
Thanks.
Would you blow up?
You're a sad little boy, huh?
I didn't say that.
Oh, that's what I heard.
Sometimes we put words in other people's mouths.
You're projecting. Don't talk to me.
You're the one that's doing it.
Why are you making fun of me?
What? I also love the way Killers of the Flower Moon looks. And Poor Things.
Any Martin Scorsese movie?
Yeah. And the way the camera moves. I get it. I understand. No, genuinely, like the sort of like fast intensity of
Mm-hmm.
the way he captures things. And Poor Things, I just understand. It's very showy and very beautiful.
Especially in the later half.
Yeah,
of the
with
movie.
like all the intense colors. Like
Yes.
there was a clip we were both looking at earlier, and it's when she's like on the boat and you can see the like
Yes.
swirls in the back. It kind of looks like Starry Night a little bit.
Yeah. And I think what you said, it's like that painting, like brushing
Yeah.
type of thing. And that's how it felt like the entire movie. Like the way it looks and everything. And I love that.
So costume design, I think, is another thing that made sense. It was Oppenheimer, Napoleon, Killers of the Flower
Oppenheimer,
Moon.
they were all wearing suits.
Yeah, but I like the Batman Begins suit up when he puts on his hat. And he goes,
I am not
Oppenheimer.
I am Oppenheimer.
Wait, what did you say before? Did you say Noppenheimer?
I am not Batman.
Oh.
I am mad.
I am not Benign.
I am mad.
Man.
I am mad.
Barbie and Poor Things. I thought this would have been Barbie because I thought that
it was gonna be Barbie.
like I love the way Poor Things costume design looks as well.
Mm-hmm.
But Barbie's like actual recreation of former costumes that were small that exist now,
Yes.
I thought was really smart.
I thought it was Barbie just because every character or every Barbie and Ken had some unique style.
Yeah.
And so that's why I assumed, while Poor Things just had it where it was just Emma Stone
Right.
who had different and unique clothings. While in Barbie, it was just the entirety of everyone.
Like everyone was wearing something like in
yes.
different shades of pink, different like everything. Yeah.
Yes, like different type of dresses or suits or clothing or whatever it may be.
I still understand the Poor Things one though,
yeah.
like for sure. So moving on to directing was The Zone of Interest by Jonathan Glazer, which I wish I would have seen beforehand because like I was frustrated because the only place it was showing I think was like South Lamar, and I was like, I just don't want to drive 50 minutes to go and see it there. Poor Things, Killers of the Flower Moon. The new one here to talk about is Anatomy of a Fall and Oppenheimer.
Sorry, that's my dog.
So Anatomy of a Fall I saw just before the Oscars, I think. And
wait, you did see Anatomy of a Fall.
Yeah.
Okay.
I loved that movie.
What do you think about the dog?
The dog was actually one of the best parts. Like genuinely, I get why they put what.
I didn't know the dog had more of a role.
He's like in it. Like there are maybe 4 or 5 main characters. He's probably like the second or third most important part of the movie.
I didn't know that.
That dog's in it a lot, and I don't know how you get that kind of performance out of an animal, but the fact that they did is actually insane.
It's the eyes.
Yeah, no, somebody called him the Cillian Murphy dog because he has the same kind of eyes.
Oh man!
But I loved this movie a lot. It doesn't lull you in, but it is another one of those intentionally kind of slow moving on purpose movies, and it's really well written. And I genuinely wish I knew how to pronounce the actress's name, Huller, but she's amazing in it because she has to play it whether or not you know she's genuinely guilty or not. You're not supposed to know. And that movie, just from every perspective, was so smart, and I loved all of it, specifically the courtroom stuff. I do not know if that's how French legal system works, but if it is, that's crazy. Because
don't tell me. I still want to watch that movie.
Okay. I don't want to say too much about that movie because I think there's a genuine kind of mystery behind it I don't want to ruin.
Yeah, 'cause I know nothing about that movie.
But it has a lot of smart stuff to say about relationships, is what I'll say.
Okay.
And I'm glad that was under directing. I can't really comment on documentary feature film. Did you see any of these?
I did not.
Or documentary short film?
No.
The one that I will say is the one that won about
the teachers?
Yeah, I found inspiring, and I do want to watch this one now. Film editing was Poor Things, Killers of the Flower Moon, The Holdovers, Anatomy of a Fall, and Oppenheimer.
Makes sense for Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer had to do what Christopher Nolan loves doing. He can't even tell a biopic in chronological order because his sort of fractured storytelling works so well because you see both the black and white from someone else's perspective, and then everything being objective and subjective, and everything going back and forth. Like Act 1, Act 2, and Act 3 are all like different there's like the courtroom stuff, the actual making of the atomic bomb, and then everything told from a different perspective. And I thought like the editing in this is like genuinely, you said Cillian Murphy carried. I think that this did too, because it's genuinely important to the storytelling momentum.
Yeah. Sorry, my rooster was roostering.
What'd you think about this?
I hate that damn rooster. No, I agree with you when it came to Oppenheimer winning for film editing. I don't know. When it comes to film editing, tell me the difference between what makes it unique and different compared to something like Oppenheimer, where you have to like balance those different perspectives.
Yeah.
Compared to a movie like, I guess, like Poor Things, how it was just continuous. Like, how would you say what's so unique and why we would get nominated?
So editing is difficult, right? Because it's something that like I have to do whenever we make short films,
Yes.
and I know that the process is difficult just doing it alone. Poor Things probably was based off of the idea of having to try and pace something like that properly. I don't think people give enough credit to how to pace things, because you have to learn what to cut and what to keep. There's a kind of tactical precision to certain things when it comes to editing, specifically required for something like Oppenheimer. If you're like a second too long, a second too short, then the impact of something like that doesn't work quite as well. But then something along like Poor Things is you have to kind of pace even the, you know how it'll cut to like the chapter thing that they do with something like that. I think that's also integral to stuff like that. It is like it's kind of difficult to quantify, because we also know that 1917, despite like when that came out, should have movie. And I love that movie. Probably like should have, it probably did win editing, because that one is like seamless cuts. It's literally not shown on purpose.
Would you think that's worthy of being nominated if it was like little to none like cuts?
There were multiple cuts though.
Yeah.
People just didn't know it.
Oh, I thought it was like Birdman, where it's continuous.
Birdman has what, like 4 or 5?
Yeah, like noticeable ones, right?
Yeah.
But at 1917, I guess is what you just said. It's not noticeable.
Just in terms of
whatsoever.
Editing. Yeah, great job. Sorry, we had to cut because of these dumbass roosters. I'm sorry.
It's just one rooster, 3 chickens. I don't know what the heck that rooster's on right now.
Bear with us, please.
Chicken with us?
Do you want to explain why?
Because you said bear, but
like an animal?
Yes.
Do you remember the moose chasing the dog on the news yesterday?
Yeah, that was funny. I hate those news channels sometimes.
I can't really comment on international feature film. I will say I just wish Godzilla -1 was here.
Yeah. I love that movie.
Poor Things was makeup and hairstyling again. I feel like
sense.
we're fine there.
Or was Barbie nominated?
For that, no.
Makeup and hairstyling? Oh, that's weird.
Music, Oppenheimer.
What about Barbie? Oh, this is the original score in my bad.
Yeah. No, because original song, Oppenheimer's made sense. We're just going to skip through the ones here, like, obviously, that like, because that's one of the best. It was.
I still listen to that.
Yeah.
Now, I just.
The one that's like a TikTok sound.
Yeah, basically.
that song. That, like, is incredible.
Yeah.
That's Can You Hear the Music? Yeah. There we go.
Wow. Are we going to kiss?
No, are we?
No. Sorry, I ate some beans earlier, so I don't think it'd be a good idea.
Okay.
Oh, I shouldn't have said that.
Did you brush your teeth?
No, I don't brush my teeth after every single meal. Just in the morning and night.
Do you? After every meal?
Yeah.
Sometimes I eat not at home.
Well, then I don't know. Should I brush my teeth? Okay, continue.
So, music and original song
was
What Was I Made For by Billie Eilish and Phineas O'Connell.
Who's that?
Her brother.
Why does she go? Why are the different last names?
Because of the thing I told you about yesterday. I think it had to do with the fertilization process.
Oh, so they weren't, but how does that have to do with
I don't know if they're like not biological or I don't know. I don't know. Okay. There's The Fire Inside, performed by Becky G.
That should have won too.
Music and lyrics by Diane Warren. I'm Just Ken by Ryan Gosling and Mark Ronson and Andrew Wyatt.
I wonder who wrote I'm Just Ken.
It Never Went Away.
Is it the song?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, that wasn't my response
Oh,
to
I was like,
what you just said. And then A Song for My People by
What?
Killers of the Flower Moon. The performance for that I thought was incredible.
Oh yeah, it was great.
I love really like rich cultural dances.
I think all the performances though
were genuinely well done.
Yes. I actually remember that.
Yeah. I
think
really
just happened
loved
yesterday,
Ryan Gosling's.
Oh, Ryan
like,
Gosling was the best.
That's gonna be in looks maxing edit
Looks
videos
maxing?
for like forever.
Oh great, that's something to be watching for the next like 5 months.
You're gonna be indoctrinated into like the bone smashing thing that they do.
Bone smashing.
There's this like look smashing technique, which I don't want to explain what this is if you haven't heard of it, but
I haven't.
Look smashing.
No, book. You said bones breaking.
So bone smashing is this thing you do where you moderately break your bones like in your jaw so you can change your facial structure.
I might as well take off some ribs.
It's kind of like what Squidward does in that one episode of SpongeBob where his face like smashes into, and then he was like handsome.
Handsome Squidward.
I don't know if it's logic taken from that, but don't break your bones, guys. Point is, I did like the "What Was I Made For"
Point is,
song.
I look smacks every day.
No, but anything from Barbie, really.
Really, yeah.
I thought it was funny they kept using that Dua Lipa song and it wasn't nominated.
Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't think it would have. I was surprised by the "I'm Just Ken"
being nominated.
Yes.
They do always nominate one of the joke songs usually.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
That's how that one South Park song was nominated.
Oh yeah.
Fuck Canada, I think. Was that
know,
it? Was that
so
that one?
long since I've seen that movie.
All right. I don't know why they have Best Picture before production design, but production design was also Poor Things.
Makes sense.
And we can't really comment on the short films.
Visual effects?
Visual effects was Napoleon, which I loved.
I didn't see that one.
Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, which is no longer a Part 1. They did the same thing with that.
Bro, what?
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which we never reviewed.
Oh, well, I loved it.
I love that movie too, and I think it might be like top 2 MCU movies.
And we trust James Gunn.
Yeah, for Superman.
I think just in movies in general.
Yeah.
I think he knows what he's doing, when
it
comes to comics.
The Creator, which I kind of forgot we saw, even though we had a terrible experience with that movie, but the theater, because it like ended the lights turned on like 5 minutes before the movie. You couldn't see. I couldn't see like what the ending looked like. I can't judge that movie properly because I feel like I didn't.
Yeah, the theater experience was the best. So.
I've seen it once.
Yeah, I mean you always get the terrible ones.
Oh yeah. Oh, speaking of poor things, I guess I was tell you about that guy that was sitting next to me.
Oh yeah.
That I don't know why I always end up like next to like pretentious people. I guess I'm one of them. I like to think I'm not, but it was this guy sitting next to me that I understand that Poor Things is like, Yorgos Lanthimos, so it's gonna like attract like people that are into lesser known things, but they're always so pretentious about blockbusters usually. And he was sitting right next to me, and he was like, I wasn't really a Martin Scorsese fan at all before.
It's like, who says that?
He did.
Yeah, it's like people who don't even know who he is loves his movies.
Yeah, but he was like, after he started saying all that shit about Marvel, I am a stan of him now. And I was like, why do I always get put next to people like this?
I don't listen to any of Kanye West's music, but I agree with everything he says. Don't
say that.
Now I'm a stan.
Of Carnival. That's a good song.
Yeah, it's great.
Godzilla -1, again, deserved, especially for how little that was made for.
Yeah.
And it looked like that. It was ridiculous.
Man, I can't wait till we talk about that movie.
Yeah. We're saving it because I feel like there's a lot to talk about with it.
Just know that I'm buying the 4K.
Yeah.
I want the 4K Blu-ray.
I want to see it in theaters again. Just know that we both understand why it was originally in theaters for 5 days and then ended up in America for like 2 months after that. And writing an adapted screenplay was The Zone of Interest, Poor Things, Oppenheimer, Which I'm surprised that didn't win, because Oppenheimer is written entirely in first person, which is like not traditional for a screenplay to be written that way. Mm-hmm. Barbie and American Fiction. American Fiction I saw kind of recently and I loved. My issues with it kind of, though, actually were writing based. I thought that the satire in it was super smart, but I thought that it couldn't quite fully write home all of its points it was trying to make. It ends super messy on purpose, but I think that there could have been a bit more commentary on the thing it's satirizing, because it's about the exploitation of Black people specifically in America, and it like only writing fiction based off of tragedy and nothing else, which is why I understand that the counterpoint of that is that the movie is supposed to be also be about his family drama. And I just wish that it would have gotten more into the satire element of it as well, because whenever they are doing that, it is really funny and really smart. But it is well done, and it's very, very good. It's just those were some of the minor issues that I had with it when I saw it. Is there anything in here that you like want to comment on?
Barbie, because I love Greta Gerwig
and Noah Baumbach.
Oh yeah,
who wrote Madagascar 3 to
you know what? I understand.
Pay for his divorce all those years ago. Who was he married to?
Wasn't it like an actress?
I think so.
Yeah. I don't know. But I love Madagascar 3.
All right, we have 2 categories left, Erwin.
Let's go. What is it?
Writing. Original screenplay. You hate writing?
I hate writing.
Like at all? Yourself?
I have my own hand. Just writing in general.
Hey,
I saw May December.
Oh, you talk about that, because I actually have not seen it.
I genuinely thought May December was going to get nominated for more movies. Or not more movies, more... more
I didn't notice it until you laughed at yourself. I was like, that makes sense to me.
I thought it was going to get nominated for just more than just one thing, especially when it came to the acting of course, Natalie Portman.
Yeah.
But I forgot his name. Like the victim.
The Riverdale guy.
The really Chad-looking guy, I would say.
Yeah.
His face is just, I don't know what it is, but because it's based on a true story on about a married woman having a relationship with one of her students, and she was like a middle school teacher, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so she was already in her 30s, like early 30s, while he was barely like 12 or 13.
Really?
Yes. And I forgot where it happened exactly, and it's just, they kind of talked about it, but it's mostly about them dealing with like the aftermath of everything when it came to like the news, and apparently so where it's the woman, she went to prison for a couple of years, got out because of good behavior, and then of course he was still young, like a minor, would intentionally get pregnant with him.
Oh, really?
So now they keep in contact for years, right?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming it's a lie throughout these whole years, saying like she loves him and everything, and of course he saying the same thing, I love her and all, and of course it's like grooming, it shows, and like the type of bad behavior and all. And I genuinely like love that movie, and it definitely has that feeling of just that like creepy, and you see that kind of disgust, but then you also see I forgot, I don't know his name, but
I think it's Charles Melton.
Melton. Well, I guess him. I just loved his performance, because it's one of those things where you really see him shine, not just like it just builds, and you see him build until eventually you see how he truly feels throughout this, like how he feels throughout the relationship.
Yeah.
Because I know they took some examples from like this interview that I watched as well. I think it was like that 60-minute interview.
I know that they said that they based it off of it, but like didn't say it was fully based off of that. Like
Yeah,
they said it was inspired by.
It was definitely really inspired because it's like the exact same people, like the same looks and all. Like the way Julianne Moore, she looks exactly like how the real life woman
Oh really?
seems, and like same thing with the Charles Melton guy, like the same type of like physical features too.
Oh.
It's insane, but I genuinely like love that movie. It was great. I thought it was gonna get at least nominated for like 2 more things when it comes to
Under
acting.
like acting.
Yeah. But I didn't know it was like nominated for original screenplay. But I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, because
not really...
it's based off of, or not based off of something.
Yeah, it's like loosely.
Yeah. So now our final thing to get into is we haven't seen all of these, but we're going to briefly talk about each of them.
Which one?
And then for Best Picture, it was The Zone of Interest.
No.
Poor Things.
Okay.
Past Lives.
Oh.
Maestro.
Oh.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh.
The Holdovers.
What?
Barbie. Anatomy of a Fall.
Oh.
Are you just like reacting to the ones that you haven't seen?
Yeah.
American Fiction. And the winner, very well announced by Al Pacino, was Oppenheimer.
He's like me, for real.
Let's go ahead and start with... We can't really comment on The Zone of Interest, either of us. I still plan on seeing it when I can. I just didn't feel like paying the $20 for it yesterday. They were just complaining about earlier.
That was me contemplating when it came to all those movies. I'm like, are we okay?
I've commented enough on what I thought of Poor Things. You go ahead and tell me what you thought of Poor Things.
Nah, I'm not here to get judged.
Didn't you like have issues with it though?
I'm trying to remember. What did I say?
I think you told me that
I didn't like the part where it was like that balance where it's like you see her transitioning from like a child to an adult.
Yeah.
Based off like how she communicates at that brothel, I'll say.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that was my thing because it felt very repetitive at one point, but then that's like the only thing. But I would have to watch it. I said I would want to watch it again, just because I don't know, maybe if it was just that moment alone. But other than that, I do love that movie.
So for me, it never did feel repetitive or anything like that. Yorgos Lanthimos movies have this tendency for me to always adore the first half, think they're perfect, and then in the second half either focuses on something too much that I did not think was the most interesting thing about the movie, or I think they tend to get repetitive. Yeah. I felt that with The Lobster, which I think has a perfect first half and then just a good second half. Yeah. But then I watched it again a couple years ago and I loved the ending so much that I was kind of like, well, it's hard, right? Yeah. But
did you see Killing of a Sacred Deer?
I did. Okay. I really liked it. I do want to see it again because I saw that movie. The last time I saw it was at like 10:50 p.m. at an Alamo Drafthouse showing. So I cannot tell you like what I remember from it. Yeah. I remember being freaked out and then not remembering like anything past Barry Keoghan being freaky, but that's in everything. Yeah. With this, I was concerned kind of up to the same point that you were. I didn't find it repetitive, but I was like, this movie is threatening to fall under the weight of itself because this is a 2-hour, 20-something minute, I would say comedy almost, that it's hard to balance the dramatic elements with that too.
And see, when you said it was a comedy, I totally agree with you, but when it came to like the dramatic aspects, I didn't really get a sense of that unless Willem Dafoe was there. And eventually when you see Emma Stone's character later in the film.
Yeah, because the whole point is like whenever she sees the people that are like dying down in like the dirt or whatever it is, that's when it's supposed to be a shock because she's living this kind of like carefree, like just fun lifestyle before until she sees that.
He's like, I'm gonna show you how the world really is.
Yeah, because he was, I don't know, bitter. Yeah. And I don't know, I adored that movie. I didn't have any issues with it. The only thing that I thought was almost obnoxious and too much was the score. But then that intentionally is that way on purpose. It's supposed to like be kind of like irritating at first. So I was like, oh, this choice is on purpose. Yeah. And I ended up admiring that choice. I thought this movie was interesting because I don't know if you've ever seen, I think it's a 1932 movie. It's called Freaks. But I was trying to find an interview of him saying that he was like inspired by that in some kind of way, because in that movie it's about a woman and her, I want to say husband, who intentionally go to like this carnival of the people that they call freaks, and they sort of rip them off, and they try and like get this one, I believe the correct terminology is like little people. They like try and scam one of them by like her trying to get him to fall in love with her, and then they realize that what they're doing is like for all the wrong reasons, and they're making fun of them the whole time. And the character that was married to, I want to say his name was I can't, Abbott something, like the actor, the one that like gets turned into a like a goat or whatever
at the very end. Yeah,
it reminded me of something in that movie where they get mad at those two for not being able to accept the way that people are.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really only shown kind of off screen, but they like, it's also referenced in Wolf of Wall Street when they chant like "one of us." It's from that.
Okay.
And they turn the woman into this like duck creature, and it reminded me of that because there's also like weird hybrid animals in this as well. I was trying to see if they mentioned anything about being inspired by that movie, but I couldn't find anything. But it is like a cult movie in the sense that it's really popular from something in the 30s.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find anything on it. But it reminded me a lot of that.
Sounds like something I want to watch.
Yeah, no, I had to study that for a film class, and I thought it was genuinely really interesting and really good. And we also had to like observe how the MPAA or whatever they were called at the time interfered with showing things that were violent or not violent.
What was it rated?
Honestly, I don't think it had a rating. I think that like they deemed it like unshowable to audiences, so it didn't get put into.
Well, what did you think? Like, if you had to give it a rating?
PG. I mean, PG. Yeah.
Oh.
People that's just like.
Well, like the way you described like the concept of it.
Yeah.
It sounds like PG-13 leaning to R.
Well, they cut a bunch of the footage for it. Mm-hmm. It's why I thought that was another point that this movie was trying to make, because there are a lot of sex scenes in it, and people are kind of like iffy about stuff like that right now. And I thought it was supposed to be like a commentary on like what you show in movies too, but maybe I'm just reading into it too much.
I think so.
I loved this movie, Past Lives.
I hate Past Lives. No, I love Past Lives. I'm buying the Blu-ray of that one too.
Inyon. That's the concept of it.
Greta Lee.
Loved that movie. What did you think of it?
Greta Lee?
From Past Lives?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about Greta Lee?
Her character caused a whole rift in their marriage, and the guy was super chill about it the whole time.
Yeah, that's a good husband right there.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying he's ugly, but he's not the best looking.
Don't be mean.
He sounds like he's a great guy.
Yeah.
Hey, as long as you're happy.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I thought that movie was super smart and like low key and in the best type of way. It's like intentionally kind of devastating at the end whenever she walks away, but like
I love the moments. I think they did a great job showcasing tension.
Yeah.
Just because I think everyone has been there where like that what's it called, where if you're in love or like you're in love with someone and like that physical like attraction towards one another, and not just physical but like emotional attraction as well. I think they showcase that really well.
It's like the idea of what if and what was the other thing, like time and place, and wrong time, wrong place, right time, right place.
Yes.
I thought that movie was like, I could actually genuinely watch it again. I didn't think it'd have that kind of rewatchability, but I think like there are a lot of great just kind of slice of life moments in it. Like I love the main guy in it too.
Yes.
I wish, correct me on this name if I'm wrong. Teo Yo.
I don't know.
I need to look up how to say it. But I think he's amazing in it. He's the anchor of like the movie as well for like half of it. And both performances are so well done by him and Greta Lee. And then the guy who's cool about it is I liked the way they handled, because they even say that, they say this like in all the marketing, that this very easily could have been like romantic, like triangle.
Oh,
and
yeah. It did
just,
not feel that way whatsoever.
It didn't. Anything else on past lives? Or
I don't know. I definitely think I want to watch it again.
it was also in my top 10 of last year, I think. Maestro, I did not see.
I did not
You
see
did
that.
not see.
I think we chose not to see it. I think we had the time.
I had the time. It's been
had-
out for a while.
I had the time as well. It's just, I don't know what it was. I think it's what you said too, where it's just the biopics
Yeah.
in general, they just have the same rhythm. And especially if a movie looks like it's an Oscar bait type of movie,
Yeah.
and the urge is just gone.
No, don't get me wrong. I like Bradley Cooper as a director. I love The Star Is Born.
Mhm.
I just don't know what it was about Maestro where I was like, if I'm gonna watch all of these, that's gonna be last on my list to to see.
It's probably the length of it too. That's why.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The Holdovers already talked about. I love. I highly recommend it.
No.
Barbie
Yo.
was Best Picture. What are your thoughts on Barbie?
I don't know. It was one of those movies where I was thinking, I knew it was gonna be good. I didn't know I was gonna come out just like absolutely loving it,
Yeah.
and I did.
Greta Gerwig's a genius, I think.
Yes.
Little Women, I
I
was
love
like
Little
phenomenal. I love that movie so much. I liked Lady Bird, but
What did I think of it? I think I loved it.
I think you
Like,
liked that
it a
movie.
lot. I don't know, one of those two.
Yeah. Well, point is,
Yeah, it's still a good movie.
Barbie is also phenomenal. I think it's really smart, really funny. I think it kind of has that. People don't ever credit comedies enough, right? I think it has the same energy and sort of wit that like Legally
Energy.
Blonde did. Yeah. Good, nice. Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah.
You want more?
One more would.
Kenergy?
Sure, yeah. Where from?
So Barbie.
If you're gonna say something.
I hate you. Dude. Why do you follow through?
Okay. I also love Barbie. I thought, hey, David Heyman, he produced Harry Potter.
Harry Potter? Barbie? Do you think they're going to do a sequel to Barbie? Because they made $1 billion.
I think,
How would you think, if you had to make Barbie 2,
yeah.
how would you proceed and, like, try to have the same similar effect as the first one did?
Dude, I wouldn't make a Barbie too.
I'm just saying, like, how would anyone?
Because the whole point at the end is that, like, she understands her place in the world now, right?
Mhm.
And she, like, the whole, what's the joke at the end? That she's at, like, a...
Gynecologist?
Yeah. I've only seen it once, actually, now that I think about it.
No, I saw, like, I've only seen it twice.
Really?
Yeah.
I've been meaning to watch it, like, on HBO.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But
I want to watch Oppenheimer, but it's only on...
Peacock,
Who has Peacock?
I do. Only because of the Continental, that one John Wick spin-off thing.
Yeah.
And then I never removed it.
Oh.
I forgot.
Wait, how much is Peacock a month?
$3.99.
Oh, it's not bad. Compared to, like, others where, like, they're almost at 12 now.
It's fine, man, but I'm being charged $4 for a thing that I don't use. I need I
Cancel
need to
it?
cancel it, yeah.
Yeah.
Anatomy of a Fall, I also loved a lot. That movie I've already spoken about. I would also give that 4.5 out of 5 stars, by the way. My only minor issues with it were that, like, I think I need to sit a little bit with some more of it. That just happens sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like Tar, I gave 4.5, but I'd give it 5 stars now.
No. I think I love when that happens, though, where a movie you feel, maybe it's just one thing. Like, right for me right now, it's Poor Things,
Yeah.
where now I'm like, I should probably watch it again.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to movies that are 4.5, either it goes lower for me or it goes up higher. Typically it goes up higher because it's one of those things, like, maybe if you just let it go or just, like, accept what it was. Because I like to judge movies based off of what the director's giving me.
Yeah, not
And
like
how-
what you want.
What I want. I used to be that way, but then again, I was, like, high school.
Oh yeah,
in,
when
like,
you
middle
thought
school
The Dark Knight Rises
Was
was
boring.
like, yeah.
Because I was like, there's not enough action. And then now I'm like, I've seen The Dark Knight too many times.
So, American Fiction, again, same thing. But Oppenheimer, does that make sense to you?
No.
No?
No, it does make sense. I'm glad that Christopher Nolan finally has another Oscar. Because he has two now. Because the best director and now this.
All from yesterday.
All from yesterday. Do I think Oppenheimer is his best movie though?
I don't know. He has so many best
great ones.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking about today, where I was looking at his movies that he's directed, and I was thinking, damn, that movie's great. I still haven't seen Insomnia.
I was about to say, are you one of those people that's like, yeah, I don't know, I think Insomnia is his best one. You just be that guy.
Which guy? He make people like that?
Yeah, the same people that think that like Reservoir Dogs is Quentin Tarantino's best movie because it's his first.
Oh my god.
Iron Man's the best one because it's the first one.
It started it all. I'm tired of that.
Following the Christopher Nolan movie like no one's seen that he made for like $20,000 or whatever it was.
Oh man,
it's good.
I like Memento.
I love Memento.
Memento was
great. No, there are people like that think Memento is the best one.
No, I don't know. When I think of Nolan, I either think of Interstellar right now.
Oh yeah.
Or Inception.
I'm a Dark Knight person for life, obviously.
Yeah.
Or if you're a Tenet head, I get you. Which is like a meme.
Tenet.
Which is like a meme now to love Tenet. Yeah.
How's that a meme?
I don't know. People are just like there's this one account on Twitter called like something Tenet, and it's like Tenet's #1 fan. And
oh yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
It's about guys being dudes going backwards.
Oh man. And the one actress who's like 6'4".
Oh yeah. Wait, what's her name?
I don't remember, but
Elizabeth Debicki.
Yeah.
Have you seen that clip that's trending where she has to like open the door from like, and everyone's like, so did he cast her because he needed someone that could do this, or did he make her do it because he knows that she can?
It works. No matter what, it works.
Either way, that car goes backwards.
It does.
It was in the trailer. I remember because I thought that was awesome and crazy.
Damn, now I want to watch Tenet again.
What did you think of the? Yeah, we could have, but then they decided to pull it from here. Overall, what did you think of all the wins this past year?
Thought it was good.
Yeah.
Good wins. Good win or win?
That's your name.
Thanks for clarifying.
So coming up next, we have
Oscars 2.
No.
Electric Boogaloo.
That won't be till next year.
Great.
But
all right, next goal.
Oh my god,
let's try to watch all of it.
All of them,
or at least 80% of it.
Yeah,
I've only seen half.
Dude, I'm usually good at seeing all of them. Mm-hmm. I did not do that this past year.
Well, it's just because besides just time, it's just the accessibility of it. It sucks because like most theaters don't even have the nominees for it, and I kind of hate the fact that they release the nominees so late, and then like they have the ceremony super early.
It's so irritating because I get it. You guys get to go to like film festivals and like you've seen some of these as early as like Sundance, but we have not.
Yeah.
And I love Jonathan Glazer. Under the Skin is incredible. I love that movie. Mm-hmm. But what's next? Ghostbusters? Are you excited for that one?
No, it's Love's Lies Bleeding.
We're reviewing both of those in the same episode.
I'm not excited for Ghostbusters. Even though I liked the last one, I'm just I'm not excited. I'm not hating it or anything.
I don't have
I'm just Daniel's making me watch it.
I'm excited to talk about the fact of why are there so many of these.
Oh man.
I don't know.
I love Paul Rudd,
dude,
so
whenever they released the trailer for this recent one, I was just like, you ever have something that gives you like this kind of like emotional reaction where you just go, huh?
Yes. Yeah, that was mine.
Yeah.
Me genuinely thinking it's another movie, like a completely new movie, and then it just shows
Ghostbusters. It looked like Day After Tomorrow in like the first 30 seconds. You know that?
You mean anytime there's like a city and there's just ice?
Yeah, with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
I grew up watching that movie a lot.
Yeah, I remember seeing that movie.
The one with the poster that has like I think it's like the Statue of Liberty. Yeah. I watched it. Yeah.
And what's it? Dennis Quaid's in it.
Oh yeah, the guy from Ice Age.
He was in Ice Age?
He's the saber-toothed tiger, I'm pretty sure.
He is not the saber-tooth.
Dennis Quaid?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he is. Anyway, in the meantime, while Erwin looks that up, and I could be incorrect, I hope I'm not, but thank you guys so much for listening to us. If you could, please review us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts.
Denise Leary?
Oh, Dennis Leary. Yeah, that guy. Who's Dennis Quaid?
Jack Black was in it. I love Jack Black.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.